on my computer. Terry, are you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I am Patrick Priest, the co-chair of the Management, Labor, and Advisory Committee, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the March 7, 2024 meeting, and want to start, as we do in each meeting, with an affirmation that we introduced last year, and I want to thank everyone for their time, effort, and participation in our work before us today. I want to recognize that it is very difficult and important work, and I appreciate and value the perspectives and professionalism that everyone brings here today. Thank you. And thank you, Scott, for asking that. I'm reading from an email that Scott Strickland, my co-chair, sent to me. So good morning, everyone. And I guess I will turn it over to Administrator Terry Watson to take a roll.
Okay, thank you, co-chair. Matt Halzia. Is Matt here? I do not see Matt. Sarah Merrick.
I believe she texted that she would be joining shortly, but had just gotten a call.
Okay. And Scott is here.
Present.
Margaret.
I'm here.
Sarah Duckwall.
Present.
Ryan Hearn.
Present.
Stacy Llewellyn.
Present.
Co-chair Priest.
And present.
Our newest member, Ken Schlesinger, who is having video issues. Yeah.
How to turn on my webcam here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So, co-chair, we do not have a quorum.
It sounds as though if there was one member of the Labor Caucus that was going to be joining us a little late, maybe if we could just stay alert to when and if that member joins, then we will be able to conduct business, which we don't have a ton, and I think it can wait. But I do, Kim, if you want to try, I want to welcome you to MLAC. I also look forward to meeting you in person. I know we have some in-person meetings coming up. If you are able, it would be nice just to tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and just so that we can get to know you a little better.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So I am the Director of Employee Health and Safety for Samaritan Health Services. And I've been in this position, well, I've been with Samaritan for 31 years.
Wow.
I've been in this position probably for about 20 years. So my department, we do oversee the worker compensation insurance program for our employees. And I am a nurse practitioner by training, originally from Southern California, and moved to Oregon in 1992. So I consider myself an Oregonian.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I could hear you clear as a bell, so I'm glad that the audio cleared up in time for that. Well, welcome very much. You sound like you have great qualifications, and will bring a great voice to our discussions. Welcome, and thank you for your agreement to serve on our committee. All right. With that, I will move on to the agenda. The first item on our agenda is public comment. So I have not heard of any that I should be expecting, but I will pause for a moment and let anyone please raise your hand, or you could just unmute and speak. there anyone in the room, Terry, that's looking like they're dying to say something? Okay, all right. All right, well, we meet again next month, so you'll have another chance. So we'll move on from that. And did we gain another? I think we have enough of the management caucus to have a quorum, but the labor caucus, is there another member who has joined?
I do not see Sarah Merrick yet, but I did see that Director Stolpe joined us.
Oh,
So
okay.
I want to point that out.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thanks for participating in our meeting today. All right, well, maybe if you just let me know, we could delay. We'll move forward with the minutes and defer it till the end of the meeting, if that makes sense.
Co-chair Strickland has his hand up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just real quick, I wanted to flag the issue that I had a couple quick edits. I got those emailed out, I think about 20 minutes before, to propose edit to the minutes on the last paragraph. So folks can check their email on that in case we have discussion about that, if we're able to attain a quorum yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw the email myself this morning. They matched my recollection, Scott. So I'll let others defer and take a check look at them. All right, well, we'll move on then to department updates. And the first one is the Workers' Compensation Board case law updates. And we have Lauren Eldridge designated providing that update.
Hello, good morning. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. No, Margaret, you're having trouble? Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay, great, thank you. I don't have any case law updates today, but just a general update on some board-related business. The board is currently conducting its 5-year review of OAR 438-007005, which is a board administrative rule that requires the translation of non-English language documents admitted into evidence at the hearing level. The board is currently seeking public comment on whether that rule adopted in 2019 is having its intended effect and whether or not any amendments to the rule may be necessary. The deadline for public comment is April 15th. And any public comments we receive will be posted on the board's website and discussed at the board's next public meeting in late April. That's all I have for today. If there's any questions.
Are there any questions or feedback for, I see you, Kim. It's nice to see you now in addition to, yay. All right, are there any questions or perhaps feedback based on to update? All right, seeing none, we will move forward to Administrator Watson to give us a Workers' Compensation Division update, if any.
Okay, there is a bit of an update. Director Stolpe, do you want to give the SBO update or do you want me to do that? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, I'm happy to, and glad to share with everyone an update on the small business ombuds recruitment. You know, I've talked about this before. David Waukee is retiring and moving on, so we went through a formal process to find his replacement. I want to thank the MLAC co-chairs, and we even brought a former MLAC member out of MLAC retirement to participate in the interview panel, which I appreciate very much. It's always hard to schedule for 20 people a couple different times. So we got some great feedback, had some wonderful applicants, and I'm really glad to share that Caitlin, who's been the assistant small business ombuds, was appointed just last week as the next ombuds, taking Dave's place. So so everyone knows that's a joint appointment by the director, by myself, and by the governor. So glad to have gotten that sign off and the governor's office participation in the process. Thank you again, everyone who did participate. And I see Caitlin is right there, and I'll let her say hi and introduce herself to the committee.
Thanks, Andrew. Members of the committee and co-chairs, for the record, my name is Caitlin Brightbaugh. I really appreciate you guys allowing me to come here today and introduce myself. I've been with the department now for about 5 years in the role of Assistant Small Business Ombud, as well as part-time with the Preferred Worker Program. I've very much enjoyed my work at WCD and am very excited to continue working alongside my trusted teammates and everything moving forward. I will be sending out an email to all of the members, just kind of introducing myself and giving my contact information so that if you ever have any questions or concerns or would like to meet or anything like that, you'll have that readily available. Just a little bit about me. Again, I've been with the department now for 5 years. Before working here, I was at the Building Codes Division, and then the Department of Administrative Services for a few years. And I was a small business manager for about 8 years prior to my state service. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in organizational leadership. Hopefully my first main goal after taking this role will be to increase our outreach efforts so that more and more small businesses across the state know about our office and how we can help as many small businesses as we possibly can. So if any of you ever have any outreach possibilities, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I'm working with a lot of our stakeholders to make sure that I'm aware of everything, but there's always some things that we don't know anything about. So please feel free to reach out. And thank you again for having me.
Well, thank you.
Apologies, just add to that really quickly. Caitlin's got a great background and experience, and really happy to have her in the role. And we sat down earlier this week and chatted for an hour or so about some goals and objectives for her in this role. And she mentioned that outreach and engagement is going to be a key part of that. We really, her and her office are great advocates for our business community, and they can only do that advocacy if the business community knows that she's there to help. So a big part of what she's going to focus on at the start is marketing the office, getting out there, engaging with the business community and small business community, especially so that they are aware of what she's there to help with. And the last thing I'll say is it's not just on workers' comp issues. Caitlin does a great job connecting new small businesses, especially with resources across the state, because every small business has a million questions about what to do, and sometimes just looking for someone to help point them in the right direction. So really excited to have her taking over and leading this work. Really grateful for Dave Waukee and his decades of contributions. And with that, I'll stop. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and congratulations on your new position, Caitlin. And I do want to congratulate David on a really great career if he's there, and wish him well in his retirement. It sounds like some really great plans. So I'm really happy for a smooth transition and look forward to reports from you in the future. So thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
Great. Are there any questions from the committee for Caitlin while she's here, or comments? Forward to the legislative update, which is, I don't know that there is anything, but maybe just an acknowledgement of that from Administrator Watson.
Actually, I have a couple of rule updates for the division. If we could go there real quick. The division will adopt permanent changes effective April 1st, 2024 to OAR 436009, OAR 436010, OAR 436015, and that's the Oregon Medical Fee and Payment, Medical Services, and Managed Care Organizations. And those are all available on our rules website. I have a whole big write-up, but to save time, I'm not going to go through all that. And besides, I'm getting over a cold, so you don't want to hear me talk for too long. The second rule the update that I have is we're going to have public rulemaking hearings for Division 60 and 120 scheduled for April. Stakeholders can provide testimony on the proposed rules at the hearing and set testimony in writing. The Division 120 hearing is scheduled for April 25th, 2024 at 9 a.m. The Division 60 hearing is scheduled for April 17th, 2024 at 3 p.m. The proposed rules have not been published yet, but will be published in early April. So those are the two rule updates that I have. And if you don't mind, Patrick, I'll just slide right into the legislative update. Senate Bill 1580, I believe passed yesterday off the House floor. So that was the SAFE bill that MLAC heard in February and wrote a letter of support. And that was the employer fraud bill. And it had a couple different versions. They came to us in December and they followed the new MLAC legislative process, which was really wonderful. Anyway, so that should be going to the governor's desk for signature soon. And honestly, it was a very quiet session for MLAC. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those, but that's about all that we have. And they should be going home tomorrow. We should have Sine Die tomorrow. Yay! I'm so happy.
All right, well, that's that good news for us. Anything in terms of like to preparations for the long session? Was there anything that came up that maybe we should be preparing for?
Well, there's always preparation for the long session, but honestly, I just want to get through this weekend or tomorrow.
We have
I'm
plenty of meetings. Yeah, we'll hear more later, but thank you very much. And I'm sure it's a busy time, and I'm sorry that you have a cold.
Oh, I'm better. I'm much better. Thank you.
All right, well, moving on the agenda then, we have the work plan update, and specifically we have the trainings that we identified that we want, and I know there are some updates on that. I'm sorry, that also falls on you, Administrator Watson, but I'm happy to step up as best I need some help.
So I sent out the training, DEI training proposal to the co-chairs. Did that get out to the caucus? Or
I didn't
if
send
not,
it to the caucus, I just responded to you, and but I'm happy to do that.
I can put that up on the screen. So the proposal from, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. The proposal from Partners in Diversity, they sent us the proposal for the July 11th training. And they want to know if this sounds like something that we're looking for the diversity, equity, and inclusion training. And so if this is something that looks like what it is that you're looking for, we can go ahead and book this training. We couldn't get the training done for April 11th. It wasn't going to work out, the diversity, equity, and inclusion or the mental health training. So we're just going to have the April 4th meeting as planned here at room 260. And let's talk about this training first, and then we'll talk about the mental health training. So this is going to be challenging to figure out so it's a 2-page proposal, and it looks at what they're going to offer for that in-person training on July 11th. It'll be a workshop. It'll be a working lunch. So after the July 11th meeting, they'll provide a working lunch, like I said, and then they'll provide a 2-hour workshop, and this is what they're proposing. So I know this is kind of challenging to look at it on the screen, but is this what you're thinking about as far as the diversity, equity, and inclusion training? And if it is, then I can go ahead and book it, and we can get it scheduled and be ready for the July 11th training.
I guess I'd seek feedback from the committee members. My view of the screen, I don't see everyone's. Shared the the proposal. Let me see if I can change the view. I'll look and see if anybody's got their hand raised. I think I can see that. I don't see any hands raised. Let's see, Scott.
I just raised mine. Thanks. Do we have a quorum yet by chance?
A forum.
Sarah Merrick joined. Let's see. I can look.
I lost the list of the attendees currently when the screen share started. And I just forwarded this. What I maybe recommend is an opportunity for folks to take a look at it, and then we can confirm by email after, perhaps.
Okay. That would be perfect. I think that sounds great. Okay, yeah. And if you, once you know, if everybody says, yeah, this looks like what we're looking for, the cost is $3,000, and MLAC does have a budget for this. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that, because I know Patrick or Scott, one of you had asked about the cost. So.
Okay, well, that sounds good. So we'll seek feedback and provide it to you via email on the training itself. July 11th is the date that this is scheduled for. You know, with the difficulty of putting these trainings in the in-person, which we only have 2 dates, April 4th and 2nd, or I mean in July 11th, could we use the May 2nd or the June meetings as like kind of switching them around and make those the in-person meetings? If those work out?
That was what I was going to ask you, because the mental health training, I was trying to squeeze that into April 11th, and there just wasn't enough time. I talked to the DCBS training people here, and so that was my next question. Could we do something in May or June for the mental health training? And they thought that, you know, possibly in June, we could be able to do the mental health training with the people here. I wanted to ask you. I didn't want to say, oh yeah, that sounds great. I wanted to talk to you first. So.
Yeah, I see a hand raised and there might be a comment to address that. Sarah?
Yes, thank you, Co-Chair Priest. I was actually looking at my schedule. July 11th seems like it might be a challenge for me to be in person that day with things that have come up. So I'm in favor of switching in-person meetings to earlier if possible. And then considering our April meeting, if the agenda is light and we could have trainings and other meetings, maybe move that one to a remote option as well. Thank you.
Right, thank you. July 11th, right, Sarah? July 11th is a date that was hard for.
It's a challenge for me. Might have to work through that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it is for me too. I'm supposed to be in Chicago that day. So, and I could participate virtually, but I think it would be good to do it in person. I think that's one that's good to be in person. Maybe we, as we seek feedback from our caucuses, put the dates, the MLAC dates, and maybe, I mean, the in-person versus virtual is really just self-imposed. I mean, I don't know, from the division's point of view, is there any challenge to, instead of making the April meeting in person, make it May or June? You know? That'd be okay from your point of view? Okay.
That'd be fine. Yeah. We'll try to work around it.
All right. I see Scott Strickland has his hand raised.
Yeah, the May date may not work for me, but the June for in person, but the June one would. Looking at my calendar now, but I will also follow up and get a more exhaustive list from our caucus as well.
Any other comments? I did pull the work plan up. Education and session topics. We have the DEI, mental health, and then 2 additional ones, which are insurers' perspective, start to finish, and injured workers perspective from start to finish. So those are two other ones that we just prioritize to be after these first two, I believe, yeah. All right, Sarah Duckwall, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Co-Chair Strickland. When I was looking at the work plan, one thing I'd like an update on, maybe Terry could provide that on, I know we talked about it. Hold on, I'm just trying to find the focus group listening tour. It's a different locations for in-person meetings, and I know right now it's a training focus, but I'd like that to keep that on our radar as well. Thank you.
I believe we do have an update on that. We're having one meeting outside of Salem in person, and I'll let Administrator Watson give the update.
Yes, so we were looking at having one in October in-person meeting, and we were looking at the Southern Oregon area. So I'm working on that right now. In fact, I just heard back today because we were going to do it in conjunction with the Southern Oregon Safety and Health Conference. And I just heard back from them this morning. So they gave me logistics for some places that they have, our sister hotel. Anyway, so I have the logistics for that. I just need to figure out how that's all going to work. So, and their conference it wouldn't line up with the MLAC meeting. I think their conference is the 11th through the 17th. I'd have to go back and look at the email. So it'd be like a week later. But anyway, I had looked into that. So that would be the October. But I can make sure and put that on the agenda for the, well, if we're not going to have an April in person, but I can put it in the April meeting because I did talk to my administrator about that and said, we do have to plan that in advance because people need to know what's going to happen.
Absolutely, that would be a good thing to put on our calendar. And that kind of is a good segue. I was looking, so it sounds as though our April meeting, although designated in person, will not be in person so that we can kind of wait until we get a training class lined up. Is that something, did the members of the committee really want to meet in person regardless of the training, or are you open to having it be virtual again? Does anybody have any comments about that? Hearing none, I'm taking that to mean that it is okay to have it be virtual, so. All right, there is that. There is nothing else on our agenda. So a record time, 28 minutes.
Chair, I see that Sarah Merrick joined us, so we do have a quorum now.
Oh, okay, great.
Good morning.
Good morning, just in the nick of time. Thank you for being here, and hopefully nobody dropped off, and that we do indeed have a quorum, because we do have a piece of business that we can conduct, and that is approval of the minutes from the February 8th meeting. And I would seek a motion to approve the
I move to approve the minutes as amended by myself.
Okay, very good. That call hand is raised.
Sorry, I haven't seen those amendments, and I know, can we see them, or Patrick, can you forward them or vouch for them, or?
I will forward them. I recall earlier in our conversation, they said they had been posted.
I don't know that they've been posted. Baba made the changes when Scott sent them in. I could read it to you, Sarah, or how would you like to do this?
Reading is fine. I just want to see them.
Okay.
Or hear
So
them.
Scott made changes at the 52 minute and 13 second. And so this is what it will say. Scott Strickland mentioned that he is having difficulty differentiating between different entities providing services and PEOs. As services as service providers are not typically listed as co-employers, and PEOs do not seem to meet the traditional definition or satisfy the test of what makes an entity a co-employer. So those were the changes that Scott is suggesting, and Patrick can send out the email after.
I second.
I have a motion by Scott Strickland, a second by Sarah Duckwall. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I would ask all those in favor to please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, make the same sign. I also vote aye. It is unanimous. So thank you, Sarah, for joining so that we could get that important business out of the way. Is there any other business to bring before today's committee? Hearing none, I would seek a motion to adjourn since we're ending so early.
Second.
Okay, Sarah Duckwall has made a motion. Scott Strickland has seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I also vote aye, and I want to just thank you all for maybe the fastest MLAC meeting. So that was nice. I'll give you a little bit of your day back so we can, and I will forward the materials that we talked about to my caucus. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Terry. I hope you get to feeling better.
I am. Enjoy the sunshine.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.